Howdy. Welcome back to session 28 of Western Wilds. It's been a dull, pedestrian, uneventful few last sessions, but, just for the sake of rigmarole and procedure, tradition, does anyone want to give us a recap?
Sure, I can do a recap of sorts. There we are. In the echoes of heroes' triumphant return, Fort Morgan gave up praise. Alden's name shall burn. A tale unfolded in the general's ear. Her ex-husband turned vampire, truth to fear. Coyotle's transformation of vampires embrace. Darkness crept upon them, an unholy chase. Headmistress Ravascan, a beacon of might to Elysium's plight, she offered a strike. A covert mission against vampires in the shade, a dance with death in shadows they'd wade, information traded in cookies and smiles, a private pact spanning secrets and miles. Frog's message, good news in the tide, mine shall is safe in a giant turtle's hide. Carter summoned his past unfurled, divine intervention, a destiny swirled. Once undead, now a mortal soul, resurrected twice, though not quite whole. Angels descended on Volan's soil, Alden's orders a celestial toil. Misty pleaded for her parents' reprieve, Lillian's solemn truth hard to believe. Augustine and Lily spoke in secret rooms, revealing much but foretelling of dooms. Lillian, burdened by fateful decision, a permanent solution's a whispered vision. Out scavenging the weapons' remnants they tread, Augustine and Misty where the Thunderbird bled. Afternoon spent disarming traps arcane, Cunningham stunning and labyrinth of pain. Names revealed on Lily's list, the architects of sorrow to confront and resist. A ride on the Thunderbird, Koala at the helm, to the showdown's brink where destinies overwhelm. In shadows and light, the heroes converge, a fate undecided on the precipice they surge. Lily's grandchildren, pawns in cosmic play, in the showdown's embrace their destinies lay.
Very nice. That was really some nice real rhythm to that one. Yeah, well done.
Thank you. And there's some really nice lines in there as well. I was really proud of.
If I ever want like a project, I will get that old leather spell book I had as Algernon, and I'd write my spells in there as like little grids. If I ever want like I'll get one of those and write put in there as like scrapbook it with all of these. And all of like the in-person diary notes one of my players did in my last Wild West game, and some of the illustrations they've done and various things.
I definitely think some of these poems could use an edit.
What are you gonna do? I like them. I like them uncomplicatedly and unalloyedly. Unalloyedly is 100% a word.
Yeah,
100%
a word. It's a perfectly cromulent word.
Perfectly cromulent word. Cool. So we, you guys sort of sat around in the aftermath of various things, the resurrection, the arrival of Carter, the sort of more tangible after effects of the Battle of Fort Morgan. You heard from Ancient Gores, speaking to that stupid boy and his clever girlfriend.
She was great.
She's lovely. She is like fully 300 years old in Coyote years. But I think last we left off, you guys had parted ways with Yuko and Carter, all of your various Zoom friends from various parts of the world. With sort of plans going in place, and you have you've been able to set it up so that you can carry out whatever plans you seem to have in Ragbend before any of the strikes start happening on the Elysium or any other places in Volan they might need to go from the Paladins of Berefell back in Ulster. And last we really left off was you guys being sucked up into the storm as Barshi cast Windwalk on all of you. It's a Thunderbird version of Windwalk, which will last your journey. And I worked out that it is the 300 feet around movement that Windwalk gives you is only about 34 miles an hour, which obviously in a place where cars don't exist is really, really fast. And then I looked up, okay, well, no, let's not do that. Let's look at how fast a hurricane moves, because that's really cool. A hurricane moves at about 39 miles an hour. So the designers of the Windwalk spell really kind of had their head screwed on right there. And I thought, well, that's not fun, and it's very fun to give you motion sickness. So let's just triple that for the fun. So your arrival time in Ragbend is something along the line of about 20 minutes. As you are screaming across the sky with your bodies made of wind and lightning. I guess check in with you guys. What's both physically and mentally and emotionally, what's going through your guys' minds as you hurtle across the skies, having had a lot of I love that goal. Thank you so much for that name. That's a lovely goal, Rich.
We've got to do goals.
We've got to do goals. Is anyone missing any? We'll pause off there.
Don't think so. Jesus. I might have to
Oh no, Rich.
I have to sort goal 1, I think. That's top priority, that one.
Hopefully we'll be able to get Cardinal Sin ticked off this session.
It's a good name.
You say it's high priority there, but Misty's already come to terms with it. We've been through this. They're happy, healthy, and alive.
Yeah.
There's nothing more that you need to do.
Yeah.
We had the conversation, and the conversation has happened and doesn't need to happen again. Cool.
If you want to revisit it, that's fine.
Hey, if you want to retread old ground, then yeah. How's everyone feeling regarding the current events, the current events that might be happening in future, the physical manifestation of being yeeted across a continent? How are we doing?
So the fact that we're moving at quite a high speed, Misty is thinking, well, if you could load people into some kind of ginormous air cannon, as long as you can cushion the landing, you could replicate the result. But from a slightly more serious point of view, there are a lot of battles ahead. We're about to do battle with a lot of vampires. Then we've got to get Leviathan back, and then we've got to get our parents back. And so there's going to be a lot of fighting to retrieve loved ones. And she's gearing up for... It's odd coming off the back of the siege of Fort Morgan. That was defensive, and now we're on the offensive. And it's going to be a much, much longer and grueling path ahead.
I think it's interesting because for so long you were forced to play defense. You were forced to be parsimonious and stealthy and subtle when you might not otherwise have wanted to be, but because you had no clear path forward, and now, no matter how many obstacles are on the path, no matter how uphill it may be, you have a clear path forward, at least for the next immediate step. Yeah, fair enough. Anybody else?
I think Lily is kind of like, she knows she's going to where her grandchildren are, but she is thinking about not just them, but is the Cardinal Club all of it? Is that going to be the end of the vampire threat, or is she always going to be looking over her shoulder? And then she's also thinking, why were her grandchildren already wearing the rings? That seems weird. That's probably a bad sign. And there's like a thought in the back of her head, something, maybe this vampire behaves differently than the other one. What if they're already turned? What do I do?
Yeah. I do want to step in as an out of character note here, really, and I sort of prefer to do this on recording than not. I have a very, very literal understanding of, obviously we have the pineapples list, and I think it's worthy of saying out of character at this point that I don't want you guys to be like worrying out of character or devoting time and energy in character to sort of worrying about whether your grandchildren will be safe through this combat, that kind of thing. Because obviously, like, child endangerment is a pineapple for a number of people. That's not going to be on the table in character. If you wish to engage with that as a role-playing thing, as an individual, feel free to. I won't be sort of bringing it up out of character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, won't bring it in character in game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something Lily's thinking about because she remembers. For sure. She remembers that of the two children that were in
the
chambers, one of them had a ring and one of them didn't, and the one that had the ring was already a vampire.
Roll me an insight check. I know it's a silly thing to ask, but roll me an insight check.
Sure.
Did they only give the rings to your grandchildren because they knew there was someone capable going after them?
Maybe. That'll be 27.
Will's mind sort of passes through yours in its current Aeolian state, and that thought that Will has sort of transfers into Willow's mind as well. Yeah, like, I mean, they are ancient artifacts made with the blood of the first vampire that dooby-dooby-doo. But also, they protect you from scrying. And, like, if they protect you from scrying, they protect you from scrying, like what you want.
Yeah, so they knew about Lily and about her proclivity to be very vengeful and dangerous. So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we are totally going to John Wick this whole situation.
We kind of have, if I'm honest. We've done a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah, we're going to continue John Wicking this situation.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, a very prominent thing I imagine on the mind is the safety of the ground. That makes sense. Well, Augustine?
In terms of what's physically happened to him, he's just thinking, this is hardly the strangest thing that's happened to me over the last year.
What a powerful mood, considering the last week I have had in real life. The phrase, this might as well happen, is. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. That's a fun message to get.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the secret project that you guys know about and I'm not allowed to.
Oh, right, yeah.
Cool. So when you say yeah, cool, that's fine. Yeah, sure, why not?
Cool.
I have been assured I will enjoy it if I'm patient. So, I don't know either, Rich. Don't look at me.
I thought for a second you got some IRL bad news, and you were like, "Oh God, what's happened?"
Oh no, that would be very on brand for me, but at this particular moment, no.
Good.
Now there are secret plans in the works that are being kept from the DM.
Oh no.
In a bold strategy, but I quite like the idea now that I'm a part of it.
I'm happy to be bamboozled. Sorry, Will, yeah, so you're saying that it's just, yeah, this might as well happen.
I mean, yeah, he's barely given that any thought because he's mostly just thinking, all right, we've got to get in. We'll kick down the door like as soon as we land.
There's a real sort of business-like, yeah.
Got a goal heading straight towards it like an arrow.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, let's just take a moment to think that in the last year, Will got promoted to the top of the organization he had spent his life in, died immediately, was resurrected, had an ancient superintelligence forced into his head, made friends with that ancient superintelligence, traveled back in time into the memories of a ghost's death.
Said superintelligence made him hot.
The superintelligence made him hot. Fought a cadre of vampires in various formats and occasions. Had the ancient superintelligence ripped out of his head, and then it was this week. So yeah, well, it's been a time, is what we'll say. Augustine.
I think Augustine's glad for the distraction again. He had some interesting news at Fort Morgan, and then Mike/Misty listed out like the upcoming battles, and Augustine is quite content with the fact that he has 0 stakes in any of those battles. Is like, not my problem, but I will come along for the ride anyway.
Like I can get some cathartic stabbing done in the time it takes them to sort out what are decidedly their problems. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm fully on board with all of this.
Meanwhile, Augustine's problems is just ready behind him to stab that knife in the back. But it's like, for now, what's in front of me looks A-okay.
I can't see my problems, so they can't hurt me. For the benefit of the tape, the DM put his hands over his eyes as he said that.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, the hands could have gone over both halves. Yeah, very true. Yeah, I mean, the bank has very wide-reaching influence at this point. A lot of people, a lot of places owe money, and presumably There's an hour of unaccounted intern time, so we'll see when that comes up. As you are flying across the desert, by the way, you're sort of in the it is fully like mid-morning, and you are seeing sunlit world ahead of you and scorching desert, but you yourselves are traveling as almost elementals within the storm. It's this strange quickening feeling of your body becoming air and constantly moving and formless. And you can see that the storm below you is this boiling sandstorm this time. There's no rain. It's just like a dust storm whipping across the continent in completely the opposite direction to the rest of the weather in the world. It's causing sort of eddies and clouds to form on the edge of it as sort of these supernumerary secondary weather systems. As you're traveling over, you see on the map as you sort of leave Fort Morgan behind you. You are traveling all across into the decidedly human territory again. You can see the garden off to your this massive cracked open mesa miles and miles to your north. You can see off in the distance you see an enormous cactus striding across the land, not going to do anything. It just appears to be having a bit of a pobble around, and it's sort of these titan shaking footsteps as this Drone-sized cactus just sort of comes across a bit of interesting, like an interesting fossil skeleton of this massive whale, and just goes, ooh.
Does the cactus have a giant cowboy hat?
It does, yeah.
Excellent.
It might as well. I think you're referencing something different to what I'm referencing.
I just want the cactus to wear a giant cowboy hat.
Hey, if that is what you want, then sometimes I say yes to things you want.
Is the cactus a documented phenomenon / life form?
Someone left a cactus inside an immortal nuclear reactor accidentally, and then
no further questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oopsie doodles. His name is Klaus. He's very friendly.
Quick question. Are we going to get put down in the middle of Ragbend in a bolt of lightning?
This brings me to my next question. You can feel, not so much hear as feel Barshi's energy sort of in the storm with you, as she is sort of most closely linked in. You can still tell they are two distinct entities, but their essence is somewhat more bonded rather than yours, which are whipping around the outside as different breezes and blusters within the storm. Barshi has become the storm itself, as the Thunderbird is. She has sort of twinned with it or bonded with it in much the same way as you remember that they mentioned the ancient Kuraz bonds with Makanut. And you can feel her essence in the storm asking that question of how far outside the city do you want to be set down, or do you want to be directly outside the city, or do you want to be in the center?
How much of an impact will that take?
How loud?
How loud would it be?
Basically, roll me a perception or investigation check.
And how long was the journey time again?
Hour and a half.
Okay, so we've also potentially had time to strategize beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do that. Yeah, like should
cool.
you wish to.
Dirty 20 on perception.
Only
Cool.
12 for me.
Very nice. I think, Misty, you're a bit distracted by your thoughts of the person canon when this particular thought occurs to everyone else. But your read for everyone else on it is that sudden dust storms are not uncommon within Volan. In fact, in some places they're very, very common, and they do, just by ionization of the particles within them, cause lightning. So this wouldn't look abnormal, and you get the vibe that the way that it would happen is you could be sort of swept onto the ground, and it wouldn't be a hard landing.
Like, I'm thinking, like, could we come in like low and fast, like near the walls, and just go, and then drop it off, and then the dust storm just carries on past us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not in the city. I think outside, because
Yeah, most certainly that is That is something that Barty can achieve. You can
Can we
sense that
just-
she is straining to do what she's doing, but it is something she has been training to do. And this is like, it's a bit like when you first go out in your own car. I haven't had this experience. I assume it's what it's like when you first go out without a driving instructor. Without Ancient Kuraz steering her from the sidelines, kind of thing. Rich, sorry, you had a question.
Have we decided whether we're gonna go in stealth, like Strike Force 5, kind of, or system? Like, because we could be like, let's get landed on the roof, like ready to go. If the decision is we're just gonna go out on all-out attack. If not, then obviously further
Well,
afield.
if actually that's a good point. I hadn't considered the roof as an option. If we can land on her roof in through a dust storm with anti-divination stuff on, there's no way she's even going to be able to know we're there, and the odds of her having guards on her roof are low. My only concern is did that butler fucking survive and make it back here? But he didn't even know what happened. But she does know, presumably she knows that the Cardinal Club is no longer sending messages out. And she's not getting messages back.
Yeah, the Cardinal Club the strikes against the Cardinal Club won't have happened.
But they're after we attack.
Yeah, they will be happening afterwards.
But
He's not put a
I
stop
guess
to
it's
any Cardinal Club member.
the base, whatever that was. I guess that's like their
Wellspring at Site 5.
The Wellspring at Site 5. They know that was hit.
Yes, they
at
do.
This point, by this point, and thus they know somebody is coming after them. Maybe they can't presume it was the Kyoayatl, because that would be weird. So they know something's happening, but they just don't know what. So they might be on a higher alert. But yeah, I think maybe landing on the roof is actually not a bad plan. The only reason I was going to suggest not is because maybe we could muster some of the city's forces to help us a bit.
I mean, it does commit us if we do decide the roof.
No, that's true. But it's probably one of the least defended areas and the hardest for them to deal with.
Well, I think if we're going, if the idea is a shock and awe thing, then we go in, and we've still got the potential option of stealth as long as no one's on the roof that we can recon once we actually, like, when we first go in.
For the benefit of Misty, if we go in via the city, Misty will be able to purchase dynamite at a location, potentially.
Hang on.
There is potential for purchasing of supplies. We have loads of money now.
At some point, stealth will have to be broken. And at that point, it might be broken very loudly.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the dynamite plan. My entire thinking was appear in the town square in a bolt of lightning and look really cool. That's as far ahead as I thought.
You were like, I want to look really cool. Yes.
Bring me Alden!
Gets you fucking killed.
I know, but I'm also thinking post game. If the Testament or whatever Will ends up being called can appear in a bolt of lightning, then it's just going to make everyone really, really worried. just trying to build my legend.
Well, what I say is, this isn't a one-for-one favor with Barshi. Will has the option to build this relationship. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I am definitely going back to tap that well.
I guess question for the DM, depending on how much leeway he's willing to give us. Like, could we, like, if the storm is wide enough, could we go over the house, give us like a round's worth of perception as we go across it, and then give us the opportunity to then go.
Oh yeah, we can just set down on the roof or set down on the other side after the storm has passed.
Exactly.
Well, this is going to be a wildly difficult perception check.
Yeah.
I've got expertise.
You can make it. You can make me a perception check with a DC that I have decided, but it is attainable.
I'll roll, but I'm not expecting much. I was right not to expect much. Only a 16. It's not going to be enough.
14.
I don't even know if that's enough. 28.
Happily, I went for the exact number DC would be the session number today, which is 28.
Hey!
That beats it. I thought that might be a nice little circular thing to do. But of course you beat it, because of course you did.
I had to roll really
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
with guidance as well.
What did you get on the?
A 16, and then I got a D4 4 on the D4. So that
Fair.
gets me all the way to 28.
Very nice.
Otherwise, I needed a natural 20. I was like, didn't hit that. I don't have extra dice.
I don't wish to rain on your parade. As part of Windwalk, you are incapacitated.
Oh.
Which means you can't use actions like casting
Okay.
guidance.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So then it's 4 less, which would be 24.
I will still respect 24 is good. What I will do is I can give you the layout. You're just moving way too fast to get to see individual objects and stuff. I'm going to describe this to you as I look at it. Firstly, I'll describe to you Ragbend. As you can see the city as a whole. The city is built into the bend of the river as it comes down, and it is a big sort of melting pot. The architecture is all quite different. The sort of Grand Canyon kind of rock pillar kind of things. Those are sort of surrounding the place, and it is in itself sits at the bit on the river level down, and there are sort of bridges going across to either side of the river. Ragbend is named for the at the centre there is a thing called the mile pole, which is this enormous sort of telegraph pole looking thing, but it must have been from some kind of giant tree or else created magically, because the pole is taller than any building here. It's 100 feet tall or more. And from that, strings come out in all directions, radiating out like a spider's web, and they are tied to the corners of all the buildings in this circular main square, main circle plaza. And then they go off between all, and on each of those strings is tied thousands and thousands and thousands of myriad-coloured, brightly coloured cloths. Anyone who wants to come on with a religion check?
I think I'm with you now. So that is 17 on the dice.
16.
Dirty 20.
Jesus Christ.
22.
Now,
I think my favourite bit of that is the word gel question.
now, Misty, how about this? Imagine if they're in a capsule filled with gel. Bring the gel with them.
Oh, I can't imagine that's better.
It's not.
I think my favourite is the calculations are already in place, and the landing zone with gel question mark is a later problem that we can sort out down the line. We've got the important bit working. Yeah, anyone who hit, I'll say a 16 on that.
Yep.
You are aware that there is a tradition among the Coyotl where they will write prayers on cloth, and you're aware that at the Thunderbird and the winds are an important thing in their culture and their religion. Winds take the place of angels in the human equivalent sort of religion, in that they are not the light, but they are servants of the light, and etc. The light being the prime deity. And the idea is that they write write on those cloths, tie them on, and as they sort of fray away over many, many months, the prayer is sort of released into the universe, kind of thing. And in Coyotl temples, they are actually ensorcelled so that this prayer is spoken as if the cloth is disturbed by the wind. So if the wind blows through a Coyotl temple, you will hear hundreds of whispering voices in a sort of movement down the temple corridor as the wind moves it. But yeah, so you can see it is this absolute sort of fountain of colour. I am going to activate Ragbend Street and get us a change of music, and hopefully I have remembered to set this up correctly so you guys can see it without me having to change the
I
lighting.
can see it.
Yay!
Indeed, see it.
Well done past me. Normally you're a dickhead.
Mood.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that down a bit. It's quite hard for There we go. Yeah. The mansion itself, as you pass over it, it does stick out. It's not sore thumb, but it is notable. It is a big building. The one thing I say is none of you are really sure which building is the Felwyn house, for one thing. So on that, 24, you do pick out which one it is, and you can see the sort of layout of it. It is sort of an oblong. You can see it has like a roof garden on the roof, with sort of steps leading down further into the building. It has like pools and sort of like desert plants and things growing up through the sort of terracotta tiles and little like streams, lily pads and stuff. It looks like it's impossibly expensive to maintain, but if there's one thing you know about the Cardinal Club is they've got the monies to spare. On a 24, there is some kind of other structure. It doesn't look like it leads down to... There's no stairs, no steps. It's a structure that is built onto the roof and is only accessed by walking into it from the roof. And it has like a grating or like a sort of barred metal across the entrance to it, rather than an actual door. And yeah, there is. I think that's there. Yeah, there are sort of fountains on the top there. On that 24 as well, Lily. Something that you notice with that isn't necessarily down below you, but is actually above you. As you are doing that sort of corkscrew motion in your wind form, as you look straight down, you also look straight up on the sort of reverse turn.
Yeah.
And there is a single very bright star that is still visible in the sky, even in the middle of the day. Sort of it's across the opposite direction from where the sun is. But yeah.
Okay, so I made a mistake.
Mhm.
I hadn't put in my actual expertise.
Mhm.
My proficiency is gone. My perception score's up by 3. Does that change what the star looks like?
What the star looks like?
Yeah, I have a worrying suspicion.
Like,
I
giving us
don't-
a start, we see it as we approached. See, like from
Above
way
us.
back. Yeah.
It's still way above you. Like it's like outside the atmosphere kind of high. It's not like it's not like there's a fireball or like Carter Garland like flapping about 300 feet above where you are. This is way up.
And it's
But,
the only reason that we're able to see this because the bonkers perception score, but also the fact that we're high up.
I think that is also part of it. Yeah, there's less atmosphere to see through.
So have we just seen the final dungeon that we're going to be fighting when we're orbiting the planet?
Okay.
I mean, at least we might have seen where the what was it, the Godfall thing or whatever it was came from.
Yeah.
Windbreaker.
Windbreaker, yeah, the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I see that.
And yeah, down below, I am going to send you a picture, Brad, which is the layout of the thing, and it has no tokens on it and no explanation of what anything is. But I'll just send you this is what Lily. Oh, let's go 4D with this shit. I'm gonna send you this this picture, and then I'm gonna delete it in 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. Sure. Yep.
Go. So in the top left corner, you can see there is some kind of structure.
Yep.
Where there's like little openy bits. That's where the structure you can see on is. The red and blue cloths, they are where you where like the steps down are. And then sort of if you imagine, although it doesn't show it on this map, the bottom edge is just more roof edge.
Right. So this is the picture of the roof then.
This is the picture of the roof.
Right. Okay.
Yep. You all good?
Okay. Yeah.
You'll get it back shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what on a 20, or was it 24, 27, something like that?
It'd be 27 now. Yeah.
20, on a 27, you get a scope, but you don't see any people up there, for example.
Yeah, but looking at the structure, the way that's designed, my original assessment of there'd be nobody on the roof. This isn't like a flat roof. This is like a garden.
Yeah, it's a roof garden. Yeah, absolutely is a roof
People
garden.
could definitely be up there, and being up there, like just appearing, that's going to be immediately starting a fight. fight, and I don't think we want quite that.
Yeah. So a 27 is really fucking good, and it does give you that information. There is more to learn on that roof, as I'm sure you can imagine from that map.
Yep.
That would have been attainable on the 28. So, ooh,
Yep.
exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. Barshi, is willing to put you down there, or in the town, or on the outside. If you want to go for your sort of slice in and go along the walls plan, that is also.
I think slicing, unless anyone has any different opinions.
Cool. Yeah.
Happy to follow Lily's lead.
Perfect. Yeah. You feel the wind begin to sort of not judder, but sort of falter and die down as your body has been energy for an amount of time. You've just about got used to it, like when you've been on roller coasters all day and you've just about gotten used to it, and then you go down the really fast bit of the big one at the end and you go, oh no, I'm actually not used to this at all. And that's not going through on mic, never mind. Wind sounds. Can I get a deck save from everybody?
You know what I'm picturing?
Mm-hmm.
The bit in the 1999 cinematic masterpiece The Mummy, starring Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser and Academy Award winner Rachel Weisz, yes, where Imhotep basically flings two people out of a sandstorm and condenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
13.
Cool. Anyone who's got a 10 or more doesn't fall prone as you basically have to do like a parachute jump, kind of as your legs form into matter actively. You have to start running while your legs exist and your upper torso doesn't yet.
I think I land on my head.
Isn't that one?
It's a nat one.
You just like boom, 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 crater kind of thing. You don't take any damage, but I do
a superhero landing 5 times.
It's a tactical landing, we'll call it.
Yeah, so tactical.
Tactical, so like. Yeah. And you just sort of feel the edge of Barshi's sort of perception as the storm sort of whips overhead, and you see the sandstorm rage through the city as it's leaving you on its rearmost edge. Good luck. Good hunting. I'll see you, I hope, again.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
then she carries on.
The sandstorm is sort of... It doesn't have the handling that you would like, for example, a small mid-sized sedan to have. It's going to have to sort of wheel around the north edge of the continent on the way back to Fort Morgan, where she's headed back to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are deposited outside Fort Morgan.
Lily
Fort Morgan.
immediately throws
Ragban.
the hood up
Yeah.
to cover any like trace of her identity or appearance. And she kind of like tries to grab everyone else to do the same.
Yep, I'll disguise self to
Sure.
look completely different.
Cool. Roll me a group stealth check.
Now I can use guidance.
Oh,
Yes, you can.
Also, my deck save was
Yeah.
a grand total of 0.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
That one on the die and a -1 on the
You're
saving
just
throw.
like taking your boots off and just pouring sand out, and like it's coming. Take the hat off, and under the Stetson is just
16.
16.
My pink hair does not do me any favors. 7.
7. Augustine, why ask?
7.
Yeah, there you go.
15.
Cool. Good note. Okay, yeah, you sort of arrive in the city. This isn't walled in the same way that Harlan or Fort Morgan are.
Misty, if you're hearing this,
I forgot to loop. I forgot to loop the audio of Morgan, and it also played a message from Misty's parents. And I tell you, I absolutely just shat a lung when that happened because that was so loud in my headphones. I'm so sorry.
I also
And I was
freaked the fuck out because I thought it was just to me for a second. I was like, am I hearing this? Like,
That's
but I
a
tell you what,
trick.
that's a dynamite idea for the future.
I thought it was intentional. I thought as we arrive, suddenly.
Yeah, I thought
mean,
it was intentional as
wouldn't it-
well.
Wouldn't it have been cool
Oh.
if I had that idea?
There's an enemy in Lethal Company called the Mimic, which replays player character voices back to you to fake into thinking it's a player. That's
Yeah.
fucking terrifying at a level that I didn't think was possible. I was like, what? What a genius idea. Great job, developer. You've terrified me. That's scary. I'm going away
Yeah.
now.
Just schizophrenia in a hat. Uh, uh, sorry. Yeah. There is no sort of there are sort of like there are fences, but they are like wire fences for keeping in like animals and ants and a few like hardier like desert sheep and things like that as well are kept around here. So you're moving much more through like farms, countryside, and and then into buildings, but you basically get put down alongside like a big sort of warehousey barn kind of thing, where you don't exist, and then you only start existing behind the barn, and then you're just someone who walked out from behind that particular barn.
And because the sandstorm's going over, it makes sense we're all wrapped up and have our faces hidden.
And no one, and no one is really out in this sandstorm that's come on very quickly. People are sort of sheltered in place very fast. But yeah, as you sort of cross in, you start walking under this massive sort of web network of these prayer strings above you, and Ragband is a very not touristy, just sort of multicultural kind of place. There's a lot of like street performers. It's all street food. It's very sort of bohemian. I think like bits of Copenhagen or Gothenburg is what is in my mind, but obviously desert, not Scandinavia. As you walk through, there's all sorts of it, and you can see also that this is not a city owned by the Kyoto or by the humans. This is a completely mixed city. You see Tulkura, you see the Red Republic, you see the Saba, you see certainly a few odd Kitsa. You also see Kyoto, who are wearing like jesters' motley clothes. Who I don't know if you've come across any of those yet. Roll me history, I would say, for that one. Going for a 15.
Nope.
Ooh. Yes, 17.
Yeah. I think you may have come across some similar Kurtle at the battlefront. Maybe they were working as mercenaries for the humans. These are Kurtle who, either by their own or someone else's volition, have become sort of stateless. They have either renounced their tribe status or been exiled. The one you knew had simply renounced because he'd never sort of felt like he belonged with the Raza, so he took on a wandering status, and sort of was more of a traveller, more like a sort of knight errant kind of vibe almost you got off of him. You don't see any Lightspawn Coyotl, nor would you really expect to. But you do see humans from all walks, and actually some of the architecture here is even like Antaran, and you can see there's like a bar called the Blue Dragon, which has this sort of big like illusory dragon which sort of loops around the sign in like a permanent major image kind of thing. And it's like got all like drinks and things are like floated down a little river towards you. It's like it comes from a big blue dragon mouth at one end and then pours away into a drain and gets cycled around by the fountain. It's a lot of pubs, there's a lot of shops, market stalls. This whole place grew out from the first trading post that was ever constructed between the Coatl and the humans. The first time friendly relations were had between any tribes, which was with the orange robe Coatl, the Nura. There can be. Do you think there would be?
Well, I think we discussed this and Tombstone as the two places.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely then, yeah. Unfortunately, it is only open 9 till 2. And then only on weekdays. And obviously not every other Wednesday as well. There used to be an attached post office, but now that doesn't open at all. I wonder if you can guess what we're talking about.
Yeah. Looking forward to your board meeting.
Yeah, there actually used to be 2 of them, but now one of them has become a bookshop. Anyway. But yeah, that first original trading post was a very literal trading post, and that post was eventually replaced with Milepole, this enormous, towering sort of telegraph pole looking thing. But yeah, you see all sorts of Kyoto. A couple of Mockle's crew actually. You remember Mockle, the diving suit guy? You're not sure what position he held within the Reba, but you see some of his sort of purple robed Kyoto here as well.
Would we have
and
gotten any contact from Bashi about, like, because when we spoke to her, she kind of looked. It was somebody looked through one of their eyes to give us the indication that the children were here in the first place.
Yes. So you one of the I think one of the Garu scried on the place because he had physically been there. So he scried on the location and did see like a ball rolling back and forth between two nothings, like as if someone was playing. Two people were playing with it.
Yeah.
But you do get a rough sense of location. Like, there's certainly like richer bits of the city where the mansion is more likely to be located, and from your 27, you can sort of get a sense of direction of where it would be.
It's more I'm looking for like somebody in the city we can contact to be like, they are an ally, and then they know the lay of the land, and we can go like, okay, we need supplies, we need this, we need dynamite.
Okay.
Like, who do we go to? Kind of
sure. Okay. I think the guy who did the scrying was actually had simply been there before, which is why he knew how to scry to that particular place.
So I remember that thing. He scried on an existing Coyotl and then messaged that Coyotl to go to there.
Yes, you are right. And I cannot remember that Coyotl's name at all. Because and this is very true, made it up on the spot. Yeah.
Boyotl the Coyotl.
I don't think he had a name. I think we only had we only understood that there was a Coyotl. So if you make up a new name, I'm not going to question it.
What I will say in that case is there are absolutely populations of Kitsa Coyotl here who would be specifically allied with Bashi, Bashi, Evu, Yuko kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah. Like, even if you can't find the specific one, you will be able to find Coyotl within this town who know of your coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So we're looking for like a Kitse Coyotl to just kind of give us. Cool.
Yeah. Roll me. Do you like highs or lows?
I like highs today.
Ooh, very good. Yeah, you can see actually there is, as you're walking along, you can see a place called the Stone Bones Inn. And there is, it looks like it is more populated by Coyotl than humans, and a good number of them are green robed. All the signs here are written in multiple languages, not just not just Coyotl and human, but also like Coyotl, human, Rana, like Travoldian, Ulsterian, the Antarin, the different human languages as well. So yeah, you can see that there is a place you think probably would be the place to go.
So I think I'll kind of point out that location to everyone else. That seems like a good starting point, Deities. And
let's get off the street.
Yep.
Cool. You head in. Yeah, it's a very. You think there must be some kind of magical cooling effect going on, because it is very crisp and refreshingly cool in here compared to the scorching air outside. You can see that the bar is sort of a semicircle against one wall and is taken up by this enormous, like, riveted steel tank that, would be like a fuel tank or a still or something. And there is sort of bubbling liquid being pumped through it. And you can see there are bones in there as well. But there are servers. It doesn't look like there's an owner here, or at least if there is an owner, the owner is not currently in branch, as it were.
Yeah.
But there are Coyotl servers, there's a Rana. You can see there is one Yomung here. Has anyone read my law document well enough to know what a Yomung is?
I don't think so, no.
Ice worms.
Nice.
They are like cold-blooded UNT, but in their blood is ice. They come from the
South
land
of the
below
storm?
the Great Southern Storm.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, from the Lost Continent. And they don't actually have a language; they communicate by sign. Yeah, they have a necessity to be kept cold, otherwise they expire. Hence, probably why it is so cold in here. But yeah, sort of you see a couple of the bartenders sort of acknowledge you, and then it is sort of it's a table service. So there are 3 tables. You sit down, and then a young human woman comes over and howdy there. Can I take your order?
I think Deary will have whiskeys all around. And
Very
then
good.
some pies.
No problem. Anything else I can get y'all just holler.
That's it. And
Okay.
Lillian will pay this.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's maybe like a couple of silvers. There's a little markup, but it's not like a ridiculous markup for like the place you're in. And you just made 1,000 gold, so
Yeah.
yeah. But again, there is no world that exists where I would ask you to keep track of drink money.
I give her a gold anyways, and just
Sure.
It's for your trouble.
Thank you, Cam. Yeah, sort of looking around, you can see that this isn't like the archetypal fantasy bar where there's like you're getting dirty looks from people across the bar and there's a mysterious hood stranger. This is it's a bit like gastropubby, the vibe in here almost.
Right.
Like very well lit and like family friendly and that kind of thing.
Here we are plotting fucking murder in it. That's fine.
Just like when I go to the pub in real life. Yeah.
Oh, right. I've suddenly put 2 and 2 together, Joe.
What would you like to do? Yeah, all those hypotheticals I ask you every week on a Friday, right?
So I think once the drinks arrive and the waitress is away, I assume like Lily would have led them to like a back room table, like somewhere way.
There's a little mezzanine, and actually there's no one up there at the moment, so you can sit sort of above the bar looking down. Yeah.
Oh, that's extra creepy. Coolly, that's fine. So as the drinks arrive, kind of like puts looks at everyone around. Just goes, I want to personally and specifically thank everyone for coming along this particular part of my journey, because none of you have any personal stake in this. You're all here for me, and if nothing else, I should appreciate that, especially if we all end up dying.
It's not exactly
Family
plan A.
helps family, Granny.
Exactly.
It's not plan A, but there is a distinct possibility, and we are going into the lion's den, in a literal sense in some cases.
As Misty said, your family.
Augustine, you're being very quiet in there. You're just in it for a good time.
Distant cousin. Not immediate family, but
Coming from you, I think that's a high compliment.
That's honestly more than I thought he was going to give us.
Have you got a plan? How do you want to do it?
Well, I want to get you some dynamite, dearie. I
Love
know
you,
that
Red.
put a smile on yes. You too, dearie. And I know you can make a nice loud explosion. If I was a little stronger, I might suggest some different tactics, some things that I've seen older clerics, more experienced clerics do. But I lack those abilities, unfortunately. So instead, I think sneaking in is wise. I would have suggested landing on the roof, but it looked a bit like a garden of some kind, so I expected there had been guards up. I don't think it was smart.
And if it was me, I'd have gargoyles up there.
All right. I don't know what they have up there. I couldn't see. It was everything was whipping around too fast. But,
Where do you think they'll be keeping your children?
didn't we see them play outside last time?
We
Yep.
did, dearie.
Could this be like the quickest snatch and grab ever?
It could be. The risk there is that we don't have. Well, they are already wearing rings, which is a curiosity in of itself. We can't scry on them.
I'll be right back. You guys continue.
When did they start wearing rings? Do you know?
I only know that they were wearing them when we scried on them attempted to scry on.
I mean, I'm assuming you attempted to scry them before you met us?
Yes, several times. I paid several thousand gold to try. First, I believed that they might be deceased. Came to believe later on that they had been taken, as I found evidence.
I guess what I'm saying is this ring thing, if you've failed in the past, this might not be a new arrangement.
No.
Whatever you've done, it's been there for some time.
If the vampires view them as property, perhaps this particular vampiric family places a different level of protection on their property and prevents anyone. If they have been stealing children, then it might be prudent to stop family members trying to reclaim them. It might be a problem they've had before. It might not be the worst. You always have to look on the positive side of things, Granny. There's always hope. The one thing I will say is I'm always happy for dynamite. Its usage will have to be restricted until we know where the children are.
What's the plan, Batman?
Indeed. I believe then what we need to do is do some reconnoitering, some fact finding, and do some.
You're going to spend some time observing the building and seeing the comings and goings and what's going on there.
Yes, I think
Of the vampire den. So I guess what you're saying is what we need is a stakeout.
was that the
That
title?
was the episode title, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Can I?
Rich, that was an 8-second facepalm from Rich. I'm really proud of that.
It was deserved. The prop. I appreciate the prop.
I needed a wee anyway, so I thought I'd pick him up on the way.
Asking as a player because I've forgotten. In this setting, are vampires weak to silver?
Yeah, it's certainly going to overcome the damage resistance to non-magical oobly-boo.
So silver ball bearings.
Well, yeah, I get the ball
Well,
bearing.
yeah.
I melt silver, and they all get dunked in that.
Are you familiar with how Roman slingers used to create lead bullets to throw from slings? They would go to the top of a tall tower and drip molten lead out of a crucible at the top, and fluids in freefall form into perfect spheres. So as it dripped down into sand at the bottom, by the time it hit the bottom, if the tower was tall enough and the air was cold enough, it would hit the ground, hit the sand below as a perfectly spherical lead ball. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And you have molten silver and a sufficiently tall tower.
Are we
Misty isn't in the business of making things molten, though. What am I talking about?
I think for the best chance of success, I'm going to ask Augustine to go have a look because he's quiet as stuff. And while he's doing that, we can go shopping for things we might need.
Can I configure? Because Augustine, have you got a pad, an electronic?
You got your wristband,
Not the wristpad.
Yes. Will you allow me to make a modification to it that if you don't hit a button every, say, 5 minutes, it will send an alert signal to us? It won't make any noise.
A silent alarm.
It's effectively a silent alarm.
In case something goes wrong.
Yes.
How unbelievably stressful an object that would be to own.
Right.
Thank you for this gift. You have bought me an obligation.
Obviously, you can switch it on and off as you require. Like, partly for your- yeah.
Also, when it's go
do you
time,
want
I
me
can
to make-
give you invisibility for an hour.
Yeah. Do you want me to make any kind of check to make that modification, or is that?
No, I think that's give me a DC 10 tech check if you can get that like.
That's 14 on the dice before I add.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I reckon given 20 minutes and an iPhone, I could make that happen. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can do that. That's no issue.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, Augustine, are you heading off into the city to try and scope out the building?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Cast invisibility on you.
Perfect.
As we're going looking for a market stall of some kind,
Yeah.
When we're in the pub as well, can we find a Kitsukuaro and say we are, I'm friends of your leaders. may have been informed of our arrival. We're looking for a few things, and I will say we're looking for a merchant who sells dynamite on the sly. I'm looking for somebody who sells dynamite on the normal. I'm looking for. Is there a church in town to the old lady?
Cool.
Those kinds of things.
And a potion vendor, if at all possible, or at least the ingredients. Granted, I'm an alchemist, but I assume I can't make health potions.
You can with an alchemist's tools check. It does require some like materials, and I think it also requires more time than you have.
That's fine. I'm more so I'd like to buy materials so I can make some in the future, and then some ready-made ones. So,
Cool.
so an apothecary.
What I'm going to say here is, in terms of places where you are best equipped to buy stuff, this is the best in this hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere is quite an empty hemisphere in Talam, but even so. What I say is, over the, let's say, hour, couple of hours, however long it takes Augustine to go scouting, in this narrative unit, each person who is going shopping can do me a roll like looking for magic items for Xanathars.
Okay.
I will tell you what checks it'll be. You can choose from in a second, but yeah, think about how you want to sort of divide that up, and like if you want to get like old lady dynamite potions or whatever is the sort of the outset.
Yeah.
Augustine, so you're heading off through the city. You can I get a perception check from your good self, please?
16.
Cool. Okay, yeah, you stride away. You sort of put the parasol umbrella up you've got, and that's quite a normal thing to be done around here because umbrellas are less useful than a sunshade.
He's also invisible.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah, yeah. So you stride bold-faced and bareheaded out into the risking only sunstroke but not detection. If light doesn't affect you while you're invisible, can you get a sunburn while you're invisible? Yes, otherwise you'd get really cold.
Also, you wouldn't be able to see if light was not affecting you.
Yeah. Brennan Lee Mulligan, they come in pairs. Yeah, so you, with bound in illusory magic, you slink off through the city. It's sort of a bit of a balletic dance in this really busy, bustling, thriving city. You're sort of doing a route like a sort of you're playing Snake through the crowd in order to not brush up against anyone, Lord of the Rings style. You head northwards through the city, sort of following one of the main like prayer strings away up across the side of the main square and up north a bit through the city. What you come to is a very chic mansion. You know, like modern architecture in the real world is all like glass and brushed aluminium. And it's no longer designed to look opulent, it's still designed to look classy. That's the kind of thing you have here, but with the sort of fantasy splash to it. It's there's like carved, very pure sandstone, and little water features and stuff. And actually roll me an Arcana check if you would be so kind.
14.
14. There's something funky with the water features and the little streams that are going around. You can't quite clock what it is, but unless you would like, for example, to use any kind of feature that would give you advantage on this roll.
Okay, I think it'll give me advantage on this roll.
Well, it's a shame. Cool. Yeah. No.
Oh, I do have inspiration, like I suppose, but
Yeah, that's fair enough. Maybe another day. Yeah, there's something funky. It doesn't look like a trap or anything. It's just there's something a bit off. Like you're not sure.
This is with all of the cities.
No, just the water features in like the fountains and the little rivulets coming through within the grounds of this mansion.
I see. Like
it's looking through the pillars and iron railings and stuff. This is a lot more sort of aesthetically pleasing than just the squat, like almost fortress compound that the Chambers household was in Harlan. It blends a bit better as well, which is why it was difficult to see on the way in. The place itself is a very light, breezy, sort of open plan kind of place. It's still private. You know, there's no like the whole building isn't glass like those fucking sociopaths have as rich people in the real world, where 2 walls of your house are glass. You fucking maniacs. But yeah, it is. It looks like it is designed sort of like there's very Aeolian architecture to it, where it's all flowing and looks expensive as well. You can see the tips of like desert trees, like olive and acacia and stuff, and also some succulent like cactus and stuff, just peeking over the roof. And as you circle the building, there is a big, strongly built structure on the roof of the place. Yeah.
People do I see?
There are some guards. They are dressed in big, thick leather cowls and that kind of thing. They look familiar to a type, but not to an individual. Fewer than you saw in Harlan, though. Maybe like 2 on the main gate, 2 patrolling the grounds. Yeah.
I'm assuming no children playing in the gardens. No, yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Actually, was going to do the biggest snatch and grab ever in broad daylight.
Does anyone approach, or like, is anyone coming in or out of the building? In the invisibility is what, an hour?
Yeah, it depends how long you want to stay there as well.
Initially, I will stay for the length of visibility.
Cool.
Or
So yeah,
just before.
you're flicking your little gadget and thing every 5 minutes, and once you've done that for the 11th time, you realise that's your 5-minute warning kind of thing. Is that right? Have I done the math right there? I have done the math right there. Can I get another stealth check from you for the duration of this hour? Obviously, this will be at advantage. Cool.
30. Rolled 11 and a 19.
Fair. I got no notes. Yeah, you find just a lovely shady corner by there's a little sort of almost like tiki bar kind of thing. It's got the rush netting and it's run by a runner. And you are there, okay, so it's like, oh, Manhattan. Just
you see a little Manhattan glass float off.
No, it doesn't float off. It becomes invisible as you pick it up on that roll.
Right.
It just disappears entirely. It's like, oh, let's have that strong black coffee to take the edge off. Espresso. Anter and beans. But yeah, as you continue to watch it, you don't see anyone moving in and around, basically. Could I get it's gonna be your choice, and this I'm gonna tell you now, this is a difficult check. Investigation, history, or insight. They will also have different DCs depending on which one you choose, but I won't tell you which ones have the higher DCs.
I will go for insight.
Okay.
That is a 27.
Buddy. Looking at the guards, just the way you clock them is their movement is just so identical to the movement of the guards at the Chambers household. Like if you didn't have a good memory for faces as part of your skill set, I guess you could almost say they were the same guards. But they yeah, like you don't know if that is because they're like shared between the Cardinal Club maybe, or like that kind of thing. But yeah, like this isn't just all vampires have guards who wear these cowls. This is like they're from the same unit, or like cut from the same cloth and same kind of team, basically. Yeah. You are rounding out about a minute left of your invisibility.
A couple of questions. I wouldn't have done this one before. I wouldn't have done this one at the last minute.
Yeah.
Does the wrist pad ping any nearby devices?
What's the range of on off?
I think it's 30 feet, or is it 60 feet?
No, the walls are more than 30 feet from the grounds. Like the.
How far would you say they are from the edge?
Oh, on off is 60 feet.
For 60 feet. I would still say yes. You do get some. Like roll me a tech check to get the identity.
just want to say, you ever feel like that moment where you can see the trapdoor in front of you? It's like, do I walk in that? That's what the interaction felt like.
What was that tech check, please?
My luck has run out, and I was a nat 1.
Okay. Anything you want to funk on that before I move on?
Mm-mm.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you get a list of IP addresses that are completely unidentifiable.
Yeah. I forgot I had advantage, but
Do you have advantage from?
I have inspiration. Sorry,
Have inspiration,
I keep
sure.
using inspiration. How far into the building would 100 feet from the edge get me?
That would get you, like, in some cases, like within, like, probably within the corner of the building, but not in, like, far into it. At other places, it wouldn't even reach the walls. Like, you're basically on-offing as you walk in a circle around it, and like...
This is not an on-off thing. It's something else. I'm just curious in terms of just raw...
But like, what I mean is when you did get some pings, that was
Right.
at one point, and it was like when you get like, oh, there's a Wi-Fi network there, but it's on like, it hasn't even got like the little waves, it's just the dot.
But I guess the fact there are multiple devices there is interesting in of itself.
Yeah.
And then I guess my last question, I think for now, is you said the city in the image got these banners going across. Are there any from the wall to the building?
There aren't, and it does seem to set it apart as a sort of like the Ragbend prayers are put up by anyone. You guys can do them. There's no religious connotation to these. This is a melting pot thing. It's not like the ones in a temple. That's simply the tradition that it comes from. And most of these don't even have anything written on them. They're just like streamers, effectively. And you know, like that one house on the road that doesn't show up at the like street barbecue, or like puts up no Christmas lights for people who like Christmas. Like there's people just like, well, that person's no fun, and they're not getting involved in the community spirit.
They celebrate nothing.
That's kind of the vibe, yeah. Like, what is this? A fucking Airbnb? Like, have some joy in your life. Like,
so
yeah.
we have a couple of those on our street. We have like, but then we have like they'll alternate. Like we'll have like a couple of people do Christmas, but then and then they'll have like nothing, and then there'll be like those people will do Halloween, and it's like, oh, okay, I understand. You've got different vibes. That's fine. And then there's one guy in the house who does nothing.
He just sits in an empty room and stares at a wall 24 hours a day.
Like.
And his name is Peter Lucas. Mike's so cross. Yeah.
I think this is the last thing before I walk away. I don't know the range of this ability. Does anyone within range have a debt to the bank?
Are you saying, is your business card full of names?
Yes.
The business card has some names.
Am I able to get direction? Like, is there anyone, like any member of staff? I'm not saying that any of the vampires.
Are you asking if anyone in the household has a debt?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like the inference you get from the card is that you walked past a blacksmith where the owner had a debt, or that guy that walked past, he had a debt.
Okay. Cool. That's it.
Cool. Great.
Back.
Yeah. Could I get another stealth check as you head back through the city?
Is this after invisibility is gone?
This is after the invisibility is gone.
That is a 26.
Oh no, very good. Nothing I can do about that. Okay, so y'all, Bravo team, what are we doing?
So what's who's getting what? As much as I'd love to get the dynamite, perhaps someone who's slightly less of a child should.
I think Will can go and get the dynamite.
Cool. I can get the apothecary like potions and ingredients.
In terms of the check need, so then I guess that leaves the Church of the Old Lady, but I don't know
or
how
just
big.
A church check, yeah.
Yeah, but my concern with that is that I haven't been. You're going for apothecary supplies, so it might be better for me to go looking for an actual alchemist who's made potion and finish them, because those two people are going to be different. And I think based on my experience last time with the church's help, they hadn't been that much help. I'm probably the most powerful death cleric ever at this point.
If you reach 10th level in setting, you are era-definingly powerful.
Yeah. And I'm close, so I doubt
Yeah.
I'll find much help here beyond like mooks and things.
Yeah,
And
the
then
thing
I'll
is,
just die.
it turns out a lot of churches don't actually do that much good.
Yeah, funny that.
Joe,
The
your
church
upbringing's
is
showing.
There is no metaphor.
the church of the for the God of the Children is just very depressed all the time. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, their first level
So-
ability is just called "I've seen some shit."
There's a big following though, weirdly.
Especially among millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although interesting, like I never mind. This is like a weird aside, but apparently Gen Z is aging worse than the millennial generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is really
Because
strange.
they're born with increasingly less hope. Yep.
Yeah. Oof.
That's on brand.
Cool. So, fun D&D things.
So I'm gonna go looking for potions.
Yep.
Okay.
Misty's looking for
Potion ingredient.
potion ingredients, and Will, you're going looking for good old-fashioned dynamite.
Yep.
Well,
Plain.
we'll start with you. Can I get a stealth check from your fine self as you move through the city?
Okay. Because I don't look like me, do I get any bonuses to this?
Obviously, you won't need to roll if you don't look like you.
I do not look like me.
Good note. Cool. Yeah, you actually sort of roll up to any number of sort of quarry merchants and kind of thing around here. Dynamite is still rare, and it is still, like, it's only been invented quite recently. I will tell you now, with no roll needed for this one, because it is not like a magical thing, except in Misty's heart, where it's very magical. You will be able to find 5 sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, I will happily have 5 sticks of dynamite.
That will be the amount you can find in this afternoon, and also other afternoons in this town.
How much will that set me back?
They are 50 gold a pop.
So 250 a total.
I'm sure Misty's good for it. Honestly, she'd probably pay you double that.
Well, I've removed 250 from my inventory.
Yeah.
I've got the dynamite.
Feel free to maths between yourselves any other day.
Yep.
Yeah, as who are you disguised as?
Pardon?
Who are you disguised as?
Ooh. I might disguise myself as a sheriff.
General Chambers.
Oh, that's always tempting. That's always tempting. Don't test me.
Yeah. So yeah, you dress up as a sheriff. Yeah, you a particular one or like a character creator randomizer generic one?
I mean, no, that'd be rude. Let's just go with a character creator one rather than Jesse's.
Because it turns yourself into bin. You see, you look out of place if you turned into her because you'd need the giant demon horse.
Yeah, I'll just go for one that I met this one time.
Sure. Yeah. You turn into a sheriff. You're walking around. That's actually a really interesting choice. I am going to need the stealth roll in that case.
You are? Shit.
Yeah.
This is a -1.
They're on the lookout for Sheriff Kincaid.
Yeah, I'm not looking like Kincaid.
What was the score?
A total of 1, but not in that one.
Cool. Well, I've got good news and bad news and good news again.
Okay.
The good news is, no, they're not on the lookout for Sheriff Kincaid. The other good news is that they're not on the lookout for any sheriff.
Someone else is on the lookout
bad
for a
news
sheriff.
Is that Sheriff Kincaid is on the lookout for you. John.
Shit, I hear Kincaid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
John,
going to...
Get over here.
I'm going to quickly walk over to Kincaid. And then I'm going to drop the facial disguise so that only he can see it. Not quite.
That's interesting.
We're here for a raid.
You too. I think the last conversation you had with this guy was just kill as many vampires as you can. And he also got the name Felwyn.
Yep.
You, your friends here?
Yeah.
When you want to keep me in the loop on your real plan here?
I'd like to roll insight.
Mhm.
Just in case he's turned. I don't think he has, but do I get advantage because I know how angry he is?
Yeah, I'd say that's actually a reasonable request. Yeah.
If he's less angry, I'll be suspicious.
Yeah.
God. Okay, I'm going to roll the other dice. It's a total of 13.
He looks exactly as filled with only cold fury as he ever did before, but that might just be how his face is at this point, because he hasn't really changed from that at any point since you met him.
All right, now I'm going to roleplay the dice roll and choose to believe that I perfectly read this very angry gentleman. We're still in the planning stages, but we believe.
Oh yeah, and he motions to your big bag full of dynamite. Planning stages, huh?
Planning stages, gathering materials.
Sure.
We believe that Lily's kids are in the compound. So our primary goal is rescue. Close secondary goal is shock and awe.
Very good. What are you gonna do about the thing on the roof?
What is that thing on the roof? Just big ass monster?
Something, I don't know. It's they got it behind some kind of ward, or there's a spell up there. I can't identify it, but there's something keeping something back.
I'm just going to send a quick screenshot of his.
So, like, doodly.
Hey, I can do that hands free. It's all up here.
You have your Bluetooth hands free. Yes, you do.
And I just
Siri, send text.
No, just send photo message.
Yeah.
Send message. I found a friend. Question mark on the friend.
The red stains are blood, and the brown stains are, let's say, blood.
If I get an image of Kincaid, can I do a medicine check? Does he look like he's drunk? Like in terms of like,
Roll me a medicine check at disadvantage.
Sure.
To do it from a grainy JPEG snapped from inside Will's head.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that. Okay, right. The lower of the two is an 11. Medicine is so 16 total.
You
don't think so? No.
I will respond to the JPEG because I assume, do you send it to all of us?
Yeah.
I'll respond with. Does he know we've got to get civilians out first?
Response is just, yeah, I've mentioned that.
Not in as many words, but
no.
yeah. He's here to rescue the grandkids specifically. Are you guys holding up?
We've not got a place yet. We're meeting at
The Stonebones Inn.
Meeting the Stonebones Inn in about 35 minutes.
Emoji texting.
I say 35 minutes. We've actually arranged to meet there in 25 minutes. At the point, I add on another 10 minutes to whatever time we are supposed to be meeting.
Narrative time.
So you are telling him to be there 10 minutes after you would get there to talk to these guys?
Yeah.
Got you. Good. Well, I've been holding up in there. There's a deconsecrated church on Smith Street. Thought it was ironic, but been watching the place for a while, trying to get a shot at Felwyn. I haven't seen any kids, but I haven't seen him either.
Well, any intel you've managed to gather, I'm sure, would be very, very useful. And then, of course, joining the strike team seems like a no-brainer.
Cracks knuckles, cracks neck. Yeah. I'll go gather some stuff. You, when you say we're meeting back up, is that for go time or just
unsure?
Share info.
Unsure. We've got our a certain inconspicuous gentleman having a once over of the compound right now. We only just arrived in the storm.
Your banker friend. Got it.
And the rest of us are going shopping. Indicates broadly at Dynamite.
Sure. Okay. Well, see you then.
See you then.
And he sort of I love it when dice tell stories because I just rolled a nat 20 for his stealth check as like a ludicrous level rogue, and he got like a 32. So he just walks between two people in a crowd. And,
so cinematic.
Misty, let's go to your good self. What kind of thing are you looking for?
So ingredients to brew health potions and anything that could be combined together quickly to produce either a bright light or fire. Probably the bright light, I'm guessing.
I mean,
Well,
petrol and
phosphorus.
matches would do it. Phosphorus would be,
We don't have the Geneva Convention here. Fuck it.
Hey, why do we get tokens that will turn into ladders at the drop of a hat?
Hey, there's a spell for that now. Okay. So if you're looking for like stuff to like crafting gubbins, yeah, absolutely fine. For like later use, roll me. I would say an alchemist supplies check for the other stuff.
So it's 15 on the dice, and
Yep.
because I'm
are you proficient?
Yes, I
Are you
am.
adding 3, and then adding your int as
Okay.
well.
23.
23. Okay, yeah, there's you're sort of getting it from quite esoteric places. Like you need phosphorus, definitely, that's a good one to have. And you actually end up going to like an atelier, like a dye merchant to buy that, and rather than like a chemist or a chemiker anywhere around here. And there's other things you can get, like waxes and oils and stuff that all would need mixing together. What I'll say is I'll bank that 23 as a number of successes, and you've got the materials. That leaves it open for you as an action to try and do a thing with those materials at a later date, should you want to use your action on it.
Cool. And then did you say I automatically get like the basic potion ingredients for health potions?
In terms of like, if you want to do like magic item crafting, you can certainly pick up those as much as you want in gold cost of that. I believe alchemists.
I think it's half.
I think that's
following the
right.
basic rules, it's half the actual value. Although I will query, it's a day per 5 gold pieces, which means it would take me 10 days to brew a potion. But
what I would say there is I would call that a day per. No, sorry, that would be like a success per 5 gold. So a 15 on the check if you're doing it, because you're a relatively powerful artificer now. A 15 would get you 1 success, a 20 would get you 2, a 25 would get you 3, that kind of thing. So it would check off a lot quicker than just your average run-of-the-mill alchemist doing it.
But yes, that's fine. I've got. I'll add that in there. Does that consume all of my time?
You can certainly try and convince me otherwise.
Do you? I suppose Lillian's probably going to get this covered, but I will ask on the off chance if there is holy water or
that certainly tends to be more of the
actual potion,
more of the actual
liquid. Yeah, that's fine. Cool, that's fine. Thank you.
Cool. And Lillian.
So I'm looking for an apothecary, a alchemist, someone who actually sells potions.
Sells the finished potions. In that case, take this as the Xanathar's rules of trying to buy magic items, basically, and roll me a persuasion check.
Sure. So that's gonna be persuasion 33 with a nat 20.
Ooh.
Okay. Two.
I don't think that maxes it out weirdly.
What specific item are you trying to find?
I think Lily is looking for things that will. She's looking for healing potions in general, like from the full gamut, and but then she's also looking for. I don't know, like 1,000 gold's a lot, but it's not a huge amount in reality.
Yeah.
So she's probably looking for as much. I don't know, like
you
strength
looking for
potions-
broad utility rather than power.
Yeah. I think she's looking for broad utility rather than power. Although certain strength potions might be useful in very specific cases, kind of thing.
Okay. I'm gonna say. Hang on. What? I've quite forgotten the price. Okay. I'm just gonna take averages on these dice rolls because it's gonna save me a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
You find a potion of fire breath on sale for 150 gold.
Ooh, that's really good. I buy that.
This is fully going to be like the only time we use these tables in this whole campaign, so I'm going to be generous.
Yeah.
Because it's really cool and I like it, and it's not an official one, but it's a very cool one. You find for a full 1,000 a potion of borrowed time.
What the fuck does that do?
It casts haste on you for a minute, but you have to roll a save or age at the end of it.
Oh, haste is very good. Okay. That's in the maybe pile.
That's in the maybe pile. That's completely
The
understandable.
alchemist brings it out, and I'm looking like, do you see me, deity? If I age, I'm gonna be bones.
Madam, I am merely the sommelier for this particular interaction. I offer you the wine list. Whichever vintage takes your fancy is entirely up to you.
I understand, deity.
That's just Peter Serafinovich. From
I
John
was just
Wick,
thinking
what I
that
just-
exactly. If we're going proper John Wick up in this his house.
Yeah.
No, you started the John Wick. I'm going to finish it.
What save is it, by the way? Do I get to know that? Like, what save is it?
It's a D20 and you don't want to roll low.
Oh, it's not just like a con save or a...
It is it's effectively it's a D20 1 to 5, but a D4 1 to 4, a 1 on a D4 kind of thing.
Okay.
You find a potion of greater healing for 150.
Okay.
So that's the 44 plus 4 one.
Yep.
You find a potion of flying for 600. And a potion of bark skin for 150.
Okay.
And as per regular healing potions, 50 gold a pot.
Cool.
I hope someone was writing those down because I was just clicking generate.
Yeah, I've got it.
Given that you found the place, does that mean that we could meet up and pool money if required?
Certainly, yeah.
Okay.
1d12, Rich. Rich is like, I'm going to have to collect a lot of debts to make up for that. Feed it to Josiah, he's undead anyway.
Here we are.
I mean, the thought occurred.
Mm.
The thought also occurred that Will is his aging is kind of met an equilibrium at the moment. He's getting younger.
Hey, I am fully not a cop in this moment. In fact, I'm encouraging you to take dangerous substances. I'm also an anti-cop.
That sounds like the kind of thing a cop would say.
I think you're a cop.
I also think that you're a cop.
Okay, so potion. So I bought the fire breath, potion of greater healing. There's potion of borrowed time. There was and there's just regular potions of healings, and then potion of bark skin.
What does the bark skin do?
It sets your AC to 16, rather than wearing armor for
Right. Okay.
now.
Yep.
Because I've also come across it for 25 gold pieces because I just think it's lovely. You find some paint of mending, which is you can cast the mending cantrip by painting it on and just sticking it back together. It's just simply super glue.
Yeah.
Misty would love it if you purchased that, and we'll send you the funds.
It's just rather sweet, isn't it?
I don't think the potion of borrowed time is worth the gold. I think the potion of bark
That's
skin is
entirely fair.
probably not worth it. I don't think anyone has an AC lower than.
I generated it randomly, and I don't think it's useful in terms of the character classes we have.
Yeah. I think for an extra, what is it, 10 actions, or you could buy.
No. Sorry, that was too.
Or you could
Yeah.
buy 20 sticks of dynamite just to.
Well, the thing
But
is that it
We've
would,
capped out on dynamite, is what I'm
No,
saying.
yeah, but I meant for equivalent gold cost.
yeah.
versus
So it gives
damage.
Augustine an extra attack. That's the thing. So if he's missing a lot, or we're in that kind of situation, it gives him another chance to get that sneak attack in.
This will have no context to anyone except one person here. What I'm going to say is, in response to your question, the thing you're talking about is either a tiny or small creature, which means it's either a cat or a dog, depending on which one of those is. You would need a lot of medium to disguise it. Continue, sorry.
What? Okay. I will buy the potion of healing greater, and I'll buy four potions of healing.
That's fine.
So that's 200 and 150. So that's
I can't tell
So
if it's
the-
Rich or Mike, but I think one of you is talking about strapping dynamite to a dog.
Ah, the old Russian anti-tank dogs.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Please remember that if you do that, they have been trained to run towards your type of wagons. So
Yeah, wasn't that they backfired because they trained them using
to run towards Russian tanks, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how apocryphal that story is, but it is very funny. Cool. With your business concluded, then, are you guys going to meet up at this point?
The thought occurred
Yeah.
that we maybe don't want Kincaid to walk into a heavily populated and quite popular gastropub just in the centre of Ragbend. So could we maybe retcon that I said, I'm meeting up with my friends at X time.
Yeah.
However, it's somewhere that's a bit noticeable, possibly a bit too much for your good self. Why don't we meet
you know
you?
where you can go to him.
Yeah. I'll say once I've gathered my
that's
friends,
perfectly
we can go and meet you at your desanctified church.
Yeah.
Deconsecrated, sorry. But apart from that, I'm happy to meet up with everyone else.
Cool. Yeah, you come back together in the old Stonebones Inn. And yeah, again, you head back up to your little mezzanine layer. You've only been out of here sort of maybe an hour all told. Yeah, you are carrying variously, like a quarryman's knapsack. Various clinking bottles in a leather satchel, and that's a bit like I think that thing in that waxed paper in that carrier bag probably used to be a centaur. Ugh. But and then Augustine, you arrive back as well, sauntering your way through town, and you will reconvene.
Misty, I have an arts and crafts materials bag of arts and crafts materials for you.
We probably shouldn't be passing this stuff around in the middle of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
have some gifts for you as well. Once we're somewhere that's more quiet and eye shot of everyone, I'll do a quick eyes of the grave just around the room just to see if anyone's undead. Because I know not all the vampires have their rings. Some of them don't. So.
Is anyone undead? I think there is a full ghost haunting the top, haunting the bones in the tank, and seems to be completely minding its own business and is very happy to be there.
Oh.
Yeah.
They just, hey, dearie.
Yeah. Actually, you look over and you can see that it is a precursor ghost.
Oh.
Yeah. It is sort of sitting cross-legged in an almost sort of meditation pose in this bubbling tank. You can see on the side of it there is a stone that says the one and only genuine original Stonebones fizz tank.
And the ghost doesn't look familiar or anything, does it? It's not a certain
Not even slightly.
scout who
In
walked
fact,
away.
it looks only wouldn't it be though? Only looks precursor just by the body shape. This isn't clad in any kind of armor or anything. Is honestly clad in something a lot more akin to like ascetics or monks' robes, or like dressed like an anchorite. No vampires. Though.
No vampires. That's good. Well, no vampires I can detect. So, which means unless there's
There you go.
a ringed vampire, then.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll mention that our mutual friend is staying
Yes.
nearby, and I said that we'll head on over to meet him once we gathered back up here. He's got some interesting information. He's been scouting this place out for a while.
I'm really not comfortable with him being anywhere near my grandchildren. I'm honest, he's very dangerous and quite unpredictable.
I know, but he has mentioned there is a big thing on the roof, apparently hidden behind many, many wards.
Big thing.
He said there was something big and dangerous up there.
We were going too fast for me to see it, so, and I don't think Augustine didn't spy anything up there. It's mostly looking at the ground levels. Just have to deal with it when he comes.
Augustine, I think you would also clock that felt like a relatively new build as well. The thing on the top. Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly, how recently was it built? Like, since what happened in Harlan?
Possibly, yeah. The thing is, it looks like it has been created magically rather than... It's not like brick and mortar. It has been formed out of stone with, like, stone sculpt, that kind of thing. As is the more sort of expensive and architecture generally. The reason you can tell it's new is because of lack of weathering. There's no, like, it looks cleaner and less dusty, and the corners are much sharper.
So whatever's up there could be in direct response to what happened in Harlan.
Possible. What I would say is it could be any time. It could have been put there yesterday. It could have been put there a year ago, but probably not longer than that.
I mean, did you say it was hiding or guarding? It was blocking something. Because
Josiah didn't specify.
yeah,
He just asked what we were planning on doing about the thing on the roof.
Then we go over
what are the chances that they've got another Eichner drone?
It's not that
the
big.
smaller one.
One that big.
Oh, okay.
How new were the water features that you said looked?
They look like part of the aesthetic of the building. Yeah. Lillian, roll me a religion check based on wisdom.
Vampires have difficulty crossing running water, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, that's really weird. So the only
Unless
reason
it's
to do
not
that is
water and that's just water elementals? Because... Oh my fuck, you bastard, Joe.
What?
The
that
Firebirds
would be 25.
are all about elementals, aren't they?
25.
Yeah. That was the information you would have got. Is that the running water is cannot be crossed by vampires, or they find it more difficult to cross. It can form a physical barrier.
Yeah. Oh, they've got running water on the roof for no apparent reason.
Was the running water on the roof, or was it in the grounds?
On the
Both
roof.
actually. There are ponds on the roof and little yeah.
It wouldn't be protection against other vampires, would it?
What's this? Here?
Like if they've got teleports that can go in and out, and they're trying to protect themselves from someone, say Kincaid, they
know
could
he's
be
coming.
the vampire equivalent of tank traps. Like it will stop or slow down a very angry vampire attempting to enter.
Something that would slow down Kincaid. Just tank trap is such a good description for that.
He's not far off. Yeah. All right. So, okay. So then, whatever structure's on the roof, then maybe that's generating the water somehow. We need to speak to Kincaid, regardless.
Yeah, but I think before we visit Kincaid, we need to decide what we want to ask of him, because I think sending him directly in, while will be a big boon to us, will also massively disadvantage our chance to get your children out. Perhaps if he were to attack from a separate angle, and we were to then like if we got him to cause an attack distraction by attacking one way and we go in a different way. And
If he attacks the front door and we had to go in through the back, yeah, reason. There weren't any of those nice bunting, those nice ribbon bits over the top.
It actually looks like on a couple of the iron railings, it looks like they have been tied on, but they have been snipped, and they've been tied on from the outside, and someone has come along and snip.
That is deliberate to keep people from doing exactly what I was intending to do, is slide down them. And All right.
Like, it certainly had that effect. You get more the vibe that it's like more a poor person touched my wall. It's a very here's the thing. Leaving the strings on is a deliberate statement, and you sense it is more a social one than a tactical one. Showing that they have been cut is a
I mean, I could cast Fly on Kincaid, and he could go and attack the roof.
They would pull all their force that way, and then we could done. It's not a bad
My
plan.
big worry with Kincaid is collateral damage.
Yes.
Yes, he's not going to be subtle.
No.
I'm going to tell you something about Kincaid now, and this is a mechanical thing about Kincaid and about how it will affect your decision. You can absolutely send him off to go and do his own thing, unsupervised, and I will control him as an NPC. Alternatively, if you choose to have him with you and you're keeping an eye on him, you guys will, as a party, gain a legendary action for the duration of the combat, where you can, as a legendary action, have him attack. He has a strength of 30. His emotional stability reflects that.
Yeah.
Now, you can do with that information whatever you will.
Clarification.
But-
do each of us get one legendary action when we make him attack?
As a party,
we have...
specifically said.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a party, you have a legendary action that can be used at the end of anyone's turn.
Lily wants to keep him the fuck away from her grandchildren at all costs. He is way too dangerous. Even just if he doesn't drink from them, he can just accidentally kill them because he's so strong and so
That's
powerful.
certainly it, yeah.
And just that unpredictable.
So dangerous that we don't even want to involve him.
No deal. I think if we involve him and don't give him any dynamite or anything, we just keep him. If he attacks one side of a building, I imagine they'll pull all their forces towards that side of the building. But they'll pull back the grandchildren somewhere safer. That's my hope, anyways. I want the best chance to get them out without triggering a hostage situation. Can we hook him up with one of those little communicator things so that we can kind of have him attack if things go badly?
You can network him in. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Then what we can do is we can sneak in, and if we get caught, then we can cause him to trigger, and that way it's kind of a distraction against, oh shit, there's an intruder. So yes, there is. It's Kincaid. Oh fuck, and they all panic, and maybe we get lucky and none of us get caught.
Yeah.
And also, we can also then say that we'll also let him know as soon as we've got the kids free, and he can do what he does best and is itching to do.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. And maybe we can remove whatever thing is on the roof at the same time. So I think that's what we tell Kincaid.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
You go along to this sort of it's a church that has become derelict through sort of neglect of worship, basically. Like maybe the priest passed away or has moved to a different city or just lost their own faith for some reason. But it is it's sort of an all faiths shrine, kind of small church. It's definitely Ulsterian rather than Travoldian. It doesn't have that classic octagonal shape to it. But the yeah, you sort of see it is definitely deconsecrated. There are no altars in the alcoves of the shrine anymore. They have all been moved, and gold statuettes and stuff have been taken to other shrines and that kind of thing. You actually enter this little deconsecrated church, and there is a crypt, a small crypt below it, which looks like it was sort of used probably only for the clergy of this particular little shrine. Anyone who might have been like an attendant, like a I don't know if there's a word for like a god agnostic priest in a multi-faith sort of polytheistic church, but whatever that word is, it's for those. And you walk down this little sort of staircase, and put this little track to walk down the staircase below it, and you can see that Kincaid has there. It's not quite like surveillance photos tacked to all the walls, but it's not that far off. It's everything except red string, and there's like notes and things written everywhere. And he's clearly been staking out for quite a while. And he sort of hears you come in quite a way ahead of you reaching the bottom of the staircase.
Well, we're not trying to surprise him.
No.
Very much not trying to surprise him.
And as you sort of you hear a creak on one of the steps, and it's far too loud a creak to be an accidental one, and you hear his voice sort of call out, "There's symbols on the 4th, 3rd, and 1st steps. Miss those steps if you like having legs."
Very well, dearie.
Good to know.
Yeah, and you sort of hop over. They're quite nice, wide, flat steps, and they're easy to step over. But you can see there is, they're marked out, and this is very much a physical trap has been set here. It's not symbol with a capital S.
Right.
Yeah. Although there might be those as well. They're invisible. You step down. You see, this sort of big sort of stalker's charter written across the walls. You can see that one of the sarcophagus lids has been pried off and just tipped to the side and is cracked, and the bones have been sort of scooped out and just dumped in an altar to the side. Although Kincaid is not like sleeping at the moment, he's sort of at a desk poring over various things. Long time no see.
I'm glad you survived. Did you have much difficulties with when we last saw you?
I had fun.
Did
Excellent.
you manage to kill any of the chamberers or any of the major domo, perhaps, or any of that lot?
I haven't seen the Major Domo in a long time. No, Chambers, she escaped. She had some kind of teleport. One use, I think, because there was no stable mechanism or device I could find in the ruins, but yeah. The guard's not going to be a problem anymore, though.
Good to know, dearie.
How have you been faring? Any luck in your hunt?
Well, found my grandchildren. They're here in that building. Just need to get them out. Oh, we did kill the young vampire, the one, the chamber's
Is
daughter.
that Etta?
Yes, managed to rescue the other.
The other.
The other child. The
Oh
one
no, he knew where Georgia was, I think, because
Yes, he did know. Yes, I remember.
Well, he at least knew that you'd rescued her. I don't think he knows where Beauregard's safe
never-
house is because Beauregard is in there.
Yeah. And we didn't
Beauregard's still just cowering in his apocalypse bunker, playing Precursor PlayStation 20 hours a day.
Yes. Yes, we found one of their strongholds, and we've taken that out.
Good work.
The Major Domo then went for a long walk. He
I don't.
unfortunately got away, and I guess even odds whether or not he survived the trip back to the front lines.
There's a lot of bad.
He
things in the
just
desert.
smiles very, cruelly, I think. You can see that there is a cast of vampiric cruelty to him that perhaps wasn't there before. It's not that he has turned, but it's definitely something that takes its toll on the soul. And that news is in and of itself, that news of suffering is almost, it's not as satisfying as a drink, but it's like grabbing a quick snack when you're really hungry.
He's not able to feed his big thirst, but his little thirst is yeah. There's also what's his face, Cunningham.
They're
Yeah.
gone.
Got rid of him.
Fort Morgan, I heard there was any casualties.
Many.
Many and lots of good men who didn't.
But
Your ex-wife
vampire
says
is
hi.
down.
He
Oh,
full stone face. Actually, I'm going to roll deception.
I am fucking rolling insight.
Go for
Against
it.
my inside, how dare you?
I was cocked. I was great.
30.
I have an 18 on the die. He might beat a 30.
Ooh.
Bear with me. Yeah. He beats a 30.
Wow.
He's a mastermind rogue.
Ah, yeah. So
He's a
Excellent
rogue?
deception. He's a rogue, motherfucker.
very strong rogue.
Yeah.
It doesn't you don't need dex at a certain point, and your strength hits 30.
Yeah. But I could roll sneak attack, or I could roll plus 17 to hit. It's your choice.
Sneak attack. That's a fist. About that.
Yeah. Good to know. We doing this?
So we've
Yeah.
had a thought about how we might like it to go.
We need to go in quietly, retrieve my children while they're being under loose guard, and then get out. If the worst happens and we get caught, which is almost assuredly at some point during that thing, we're hoping that you can provide enough distraction that whatever happens after that point is of the people inside, and that's all. You're free to do whatever you wish. We will assist in whatever way we can in terms of lowering their defenses. We know that they have lots of water all over the place. We'll do our best to disable those impediments to go through.
Very good.
Imagine that's what's been causing you some trouble being better instantly.
It just takes a long time to move through, so it increases your chance of getting caught.
Which is probably its purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know what the thing on the top of the roof is? You said, yes, you...
Dunno. That was built maybe a week ago. Wizard came in, did it.
When was the attack on the Chambers mansion?
More than a week ago.
So that could be Chambers. This is her new place.
Roll me an intelligence, just a raw intelligence check, and
Natural 20.
Ooh!
Okay, so I'm going to tell you events that happened after. I'm going to give you the point in the campaign at which that thing was built, rather than, whatever else might be in there or whatever. But a thing arrived in the newly built thing after it was built. That thing was built after the bombing at the auction house, after the attack on the Chambers mansion, after the attack on the wellspring, after you guys got to Arxancora, before you guys got to Fort Morgan. So
yeah, because we destroyed the nest, the other safe house, right? Effectively, or it's not nearly as safe as she.
Well, this structure on top of the mansion isn't a huge thing, is it?
It's not huge. No, you would say it's maybe 15 feet tall, 20 feet by 20 feet wide and long.
And is it a completely enclosed structure apart from the door?
Yeah.
But the door is like a jail door, like just bars, so like sunlight can get through, or is it?
As far as I can see, yeah. Like it's not a good angle, and there's a lip on the top of the building, and
when Lily looks down on it,
buildings.
what did she see?
Yeah, you saw what's a good? What have I got? Is a good? I think this box. If I close up the contents at least, it's sort of like that in profile, and you could see there is a door there on the side of it, but you couldn't see more than about 5 feet in, even in that rush. But yeah.
So they could have made like a vampire trap and stuck her on the roof. That's weird.
I will also point out that Kincaid said the thing on the roof. He didn't necessarily talk about a creature.
Oh.
Yeah, he just meant the building.
Yeah. So Kincaid will share with you. He doesn't know what is in there, or even if there is anything in there. There could be either way. I don't want to mislead you with what I said in terms of.
What was the top of the structure built out of?
Flat rock.
They basically just use wall of stone or whatever to go dunk, dunk, dunk.
Very precisely, literally that spell as well.
How easy is it to no, because they wouldn't be old enough to have been turned into vampires, right? So it's not like it's a. Okay, that's fine. While I remember, Kincaid, you said the water slows you down if we can't get rid of it, or if you need to get to us quickly, you can drink this, and I will hand him a potion of swiftness, which will increase his walking speed by 10 feet for an hour, and it will last until the potion itself will remain in existence until the end of the day. Like it degrades by dawn the next day, because it's part of my
it's the artificer alchemist thing. Yeah, absolutely.
We've also got some of us are wearing earpieces. We've if you'd like, you can use this to keep in contact.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of ruin delving myself. I've seen these things before, but more of a lone operative. I don't need to communicate usually.
But we're hoping if you wait on the outside but close by, wait for our go order. We'll get in, try and get the children out without being detected. If we get them out, or if we're detected, we'll give you the go order, and then you can go in hard. Would you like assistance?
Either that, there's nothing left alive in that building when I leave it, or I don't leave it. So you guys do what you're gonna do.
How long as an estimate do you think it would take to glue ball bearings onto a stick of dynamite?
Short rest.
I need to take a short rest before we do anything anyway.
Do you want to try and get silver ball bearings?
No, my plan is I'm going to glue the ball bearings on because I don't have time to melt down the silver, but I should have time to grind it down. And before I had confetti, but rather than confetti, this time it's powdered silver.
Lovely.
It may or may not work. But
I like that. Have you come across Kincaid's traps before?
The auction house was kind of rigged with some of them.
It was, yeah. Could I get an investigation or perception check from Misty?
Like, I imagine Misty is fully doing this whilst having the conversation.
Yeah.
That's only a 7 on investigation because I've rolled a 2.
Cool. In that case, you guys can all see Misty start to just, mix up silver and phosphorus and then pour it into like a mold around a stick of dynamite and start doing this. And as you're looking behind, you can see basically like plastique all up the wall of this place, which is one of the traps that this thing, and set into it are lots of tiny silver flechettes, like little tiny darts. As this place is just like full of claymore mines, effectively. Yeah. And he looks at you. It just gives you this sort of, you haven't seen him this filled with, like, quickened with emotion at all. He just gives you a nice. Thought I was the only one. Okay. Yeah, I'm game. You get whoever you need to out. Once they're out, you come back and we take out the trash. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool. What time of day do you guys assemble at the old? You can have short rest. In fact, you can probably have a long rest if you want, but only if you want. And
I want it to be as close to dawn as possible, because that's max amount of time it'll be light for. Max amount of time. Gotcha. Yes, we'll be more likely to be seen, but it's also the weakest point for all the vampires in case we can get their rings off, or like they go down. If they go down, like. Because we've never encountered one at night where if they go down, they don't die. They just do that whole
gas thing
bullshit. So I don't want that to happen because that's a bad time. And I don't have the ability to cast the spell that would be needed to finish that off.
For sure.
So.
Cool. Yeah, you sort of 5 to dawn, effectively. You sort of time it quite well. Will, just when the little edge of the yellow is coming up in your little heads-up display, the little yellow disc, you assemble. Are you attempting to sneak across the grounds, like hop over the wall and go in without, like, time it so the guards aren't patrolling? Or are you attempting to take the guards out first?
Crazy thought. Do we want a Wheel or Woe spell where they are, or does that burn a slot that we need otherwise?
It's a ritual.
Would we find your children on the roof or something?
Oh, would I find my children on the roof? That's actually that's a really good idea.
Wheel or Woe?
Yeah.
Woe.
Not there. Something's there, but it's not them.
I will point out, though, that if they've got the rings on, then they're protected from divination magic, so they would not be seen up there. But we're the targets of the divination spell, so...
Yeah. A bit of a weird one. It's more about our action rather than.
Yeah.
Okay. Sneak in through the grounds, and then when we get to the building is constructed of stone, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good because I got stone shape.
Very nice. Could I get stealth checks from everybody, please?
Guidance.
I'm just trying to decide if I want to use one of my 2 spell slots to cast invisibility.
It's a tricky one.
You cast it on multiple people as well, so.
Yeah, the total of 3 people, 3 targets. Yep, I will use invisibility.
Okay.
For myself, I think Augustine was fine on his own. So myself, Lily, and Misty.
What does
Okay.
invisibility do?
You have advantage on your
You're
stealth check.
invisible as a condition, and you have advantage on all stealth checks. Also, perception checks have disadvantage to see you.
So advantage just cancels out disadvantage, right? So I'm
It does.
Correct.
rolling flat.
I will point. What I'm going to say is, the only one that really matters here, Augustine, is yours. What was your result?
So I rolled a 6.
Total?
So 17 total.
With the disadvantage from the two guards who could have seen you, they got a 4 and a 7. So I don't believe... I am going to just call that encounter nullified. You cast invisibility, the retroeffective panels are on each of you. Augustine, like a shadow in the dawn light, is the barest flicker of sight to someone intensely watching, to people just mechanically per rote going across their pre-programmed instructions around, not even turning around to see where they're coming. You time it right, you step up, and you are flush with the wall. You have maybe 15 seconds before the next guard comes around the corner.
Can I just confirm mechanically that Kincaid has come with us? He's not sneaking in, but he is waiting outside the grounds.
Kincaid is effectively taken up a post near, basically where Augustine was standing the other day.
Cool. Yeah,
Is
that's absolutely fine. Yeah,
inconspicuous.
I just wanted to confirm he wasn't coming all the way from the church because
No, he is. He will be able to reach you within a couple of rounds.
He's in
'cause
position.
fast.
cool. That's fine.
He's even faster now.
Yeah.
We can.
If
do
he
this.
drinks the potion.
Yeah, you
Right.
have maybe 15 seconds. What are you doing?
Is there a door into the place?
There is.
What are we going to use
Can
that door,
I-
or are we going to use Lily to make a new door?
If I make a door, I don't necessarily know what's inside on the other side of it.
Fair.
Use the
Have
regular door.
have I got enough time with the 15 seconds to check to see if it's trapped?
And
Yes. Roll an investigation check. There is a penalty for rolling lower than a certain number.
can I listen for anyone on the other side?
Most certainly. Perception.
19.
20 on perception.
This is trapped. Yes.
Good call.
It is also a magical trap rather than a mundane one. You see those telltale tiny etching signs where your reagents kind of haven't quite come out of the filed grooves in there.
It's magically trapped,
It is.
and I'm relaying this to the group. It's magically trapped. I don't know how to disarm it quickly.
Dispel magic.
Right.
Is that what Lily does?
You said it's magically trapped, and I need to get rid of it.
Yeah, so does Lily have Dispel Magic? Is what I was
Yes,
asking.
she does. Yeah.
In that case, yeah. Spend the spell slot. You see the symbol spell melt away.
Was it only magically trapped, or was it magically and physically trapped?
Magically trapped only, physically locked.
Can I attempt to pick it unless someone else is going to leap in?
It's got these
I will
symbols, yeah.
give the help action.
Perfect.
Cool.
With advantage.
Because I've got thieves' tools. I've got tools for days, apparently.
Is Augustine's thieves' tools just his business card, and he does that by the lock?
That's amazing.
Credit card. But yeah, the old credit card of unlocking.
Surprised how much it works.
19.
18 is enough. You just could spell the spell, slide the lock. It was DC 18, and you really didn't want to roll below an 18 there.
Ooh.
You step in, you file in, you close the door behind you. Barest creak of the lock closing. And you are standing inside, very nicely furnished, very well appointed, very sort of austere and sterile as well. Like, this has living quarters, and it has like a juice bar and like a stocked pantry, but it is meant for something that doesn't eat. And you don't see anyone in here. It doesn't look like this place has been abandoned for like months, but there's just no servants around. There's not layers of dust or anything. It's, been occupied within the last week, but yeah, there's no servants here.
If I do a quick device ping now they're in the heart of the building, what comes back?
Probably 20 or 30, yeah. You can see there is like genuinely like precursor like kitchen equipment, that kind of thing. It's like there's like a smart fridge and blender and stuff, yeah. Although you don't get anything of the same sort of signal power as the teleport tunnel, for example.
I guess. I hope there's nothing from the roof.
There is something up there, device-wise. I mean,
Device-wise.
You should have let that hang. It'd have been fine. Let our imaginations just murder us. It's fine.
what I will say with regards to your imagination, I didn't say that was the only thing up there.
That's true.
A thought now crosses Misty's mind, and in a very hushed but somewhat agitated tone, is what if they're not here? What if this entire place is a trap designed to kill Kincaid or whoever would then storm inside?
Oh, so they're hiding. It's the only clue we've got, so we've got to take what we get. Sometimes you have to spring the trap.
Okay.
You can see that the open plan ground floor is deserted. There is stairs leading up. There are stairs leading down to a basement, although that's only for aesthetic purposes because I haven't planned anything.
So it's more likely that bedrooms would be upstairs.
Yeah.
Can I search for traps?
Yes, you can.
Specifically, well, traps in general, but paying particular magical traps like we saw before. We went in at dawn, right?
Yeah, this is a dawn raid, essentially.
Yep.
Cool. So my lucky has refreshed, so I'm going to spend.
So did we take a long rest?
You will have had a long rest since. Yeah, because you were here overnight. Yeah.
Important for my abilities.
Very good.
Oh, it's per long rest, not per day. Okay, but we've taken a long rest anyway. Okay, apologies.
To your search for traps.
I'm going to spend another lucky point because these are very, very low rolls, and I don't want to get this wrong. 21.
You find actually a couple more symbol spells, and they are also cunningly hidden by someone who had a good sense of how to hurt people when they weren't expecting it.
Are they in places that if someone was actually living here and using it day to day, that they would walk into it?
Yes.
Or is it? Yeah. Again, I'll put them out to Lily.
The thing about these symbol spell, though, is you can key it so that it doesn't trigger off certain people. Is that right?
You can. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I've misunderstood.
You can exclude a number of people at the point of casting. Yes.
Yeah.
Whether or not that has happened, there's no way to tell post-casting.
It's number of targets rather than type of creature.
You can exclude if it's. It depends on if it's the symbol spell with a big S. Then you can exclude types. You can exclude. It's very. It's like. And if it's
Misty would have to identify it to be sure. Misty would have to touch it to identify it. So
No.
That's a hard pass.
I'm going to say, Misty, I'm going to ask for a raw intelligence check from you. You can PC creep this as much as you want, but basically, there's a number of symbol spells I have in my head. For each success, so 15, 20, 25, 30, that takes off 1 from the number of them you'll have to dispel to get a safe route through the house.
Okay.
You could be lucky, it could be 1.
Do you want to guidance that?
Yeah. I would do.
Cool.
Default.
Okay.
Could I give the help action, given that I know around traps and the likely...
Yeah, I think you can, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That currently stands at 22. I'm happy to spend my
Flash
last. Flash Genius that's for saving throws.
Is it? I thought it was. Is it only saving throws? Let me check. I thought that was what you were going for, but it's worth checking either way.
No,
Ability check or saving throw.
This is an ability check. You can most certainly use Flash of Genius on this.
Hells yes. Well, I was going to use my last. Does Lucky just?
Lucky you reroll any d20.
Yeah.
But I have to pick the new result. I might spend my inspiration point then to re-roll so I can pick which one. Can I stack the inspiration with the help action? So I basically Okay, cool. So raw int, did you say? I'm having to because that currently stands at 28.
You will have you can plot a route through this. This is the magical equivalent of just tugging on the ley lines and going ping, 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 ping in the laser maze kind of thing. There is a route you can take through this house where you won't have to make any climbing or athletics checks that will cost you 1 use of Dispel Magic to get through the house.
Have you used Flash of Genius already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One is the minimum, basically.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
1 Dispel Magic.
Cool. Symbol of spears. It'll glitter a diamond dust as the spell leaves. And you can get up to the second floor. Up here, you can see there is a bedroom door which is actually open. It leads into a child's bedroom with 2 small cots in there. Like, very rich toys, which are like, beautiful china dolls and rocking horses and little building blocks and things.
Yeah, Lily goes through and kind of like slowly picks up a few of the toys and is just like finds the ones that are the most loved and puts them in her pack.
You're looking for like the ones that are the most worn.
Yeah.
You don't find any that show any signs that they're loved.
Shakes her head and
Do you recognize
looks
any
no.
of the toys?
She looks for a child's hiding place. Like children hide things. Like under floorboards, in cracks, underneath bed frames, in strange locations.
Yeah. Roll me investigate.
Ooh, investigation.
I
can
realise
give you
we've hit, by the way, I realise we've hit 10:30. I am wrapping up, but yeah, I know we're on just sort of watch time.
I'm going to give the help action on this.
Cool. That'll be 17 then.
I think what you find is actually getting down on all fours, looking under the bed. That you don't find any things. What you find is underneath on the slats of the bed, there's been like crayon drawings done where only someone who was looking for them or only a child could fit in to do them.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't. Is there anything else that was specific I want to give you? I think you find like a picture of like a dragon that's been sort of done on there in like nice pencil, but like nice artist drawing pencils that would be like 5 gold a tin for an artist, but they've been given to a 7-year-old to just do like in chisel grip. And
So
like,
is the impression we're getting that anything in here that shows any kind of wear and tear is immediately replaced with something that is not showing wear and tear?
That's actually, very much what you get. Yeah. But because this was out of sight, out of mind, it hasn't been. And you can see the running theme is that there's always 2 figures in the drawings.
Gets up, dusts herself off. Right, the note here, going.
Looking at, you see there is a master bedroom here. There is a portrait of someone who looks quite a lot like Lady Chambers and a woman who looks unrelated, and they're both wearing... The bedroom is empty. It actually looks like the bedroom has been like packed, but not we're moving house, we're going away kind of thing.
Right.
But they've not taken the stuff to leave yet.
The stuff. Okay.
Are there suitcases packed and ready to go?
On given the investigation check from Lily already, what I will say is the stuff from the grown-ups has been packed. Suitcases are gone. Dresses, clothes, handkerchiefs, whatever is missing. No such process has happened in the children's bedroom. All the clothes are there. The packing crates and boxes and trunks are still there, but it's tacked away in the cupboards. There are other sort of rooms on this, like there's a drawing room and bathrooms and things in the cell. You also see there's a study, which is the last door on the right before the stuff that goes up to the roof.
I assume we're checking for traps.
Yeah, that trap's covered by the previous.
Okay, fair enough.
You go in and there is a letter that is just open, like it's been ripped open and has been put and then read and placed back down on a writing desk in this room. Does anyone, whoever is reading it, if anyone does, it says, "My darling sister, whatever pantomime you're so obsessed with is quickly becoming stale and a risk to me and mine. The brats are more trouble than they're worth. Should you make it here, do with them what you will. I don't know if they'll still be in the house. As far as I'm concerned, they can run off into the desert. I'll be long gone. Yours, your darling brother."
Do we get a sense for Can we check like the postmark on this to see what date?
The postmark would have arrived in the last 2 days, and it was opened the same day.
And she would have brought that. She would have received that elsewhere and brought that here.
It looks like... Actually, no, sorry. There is no postmark. This was left on this desk.
But then
Right.
opened by somebody who found it.
For someone who found it.
So someone else has
Can I
come
also get a
in.
perception check from everybody? It's an easy one. In fact, anyone who has a passive perception of over 10
Oh yeah.
will...
I have passive perception of 21. Cool.
Yeah, that checks out. So you see into the very soul of my setting. No. One of you asks a question to the other, whoever is sort of saying, "Oh, you know, what does the letter say?" And you find that no words are coming out of your mouth.
We're in the middle of a silent spell.
I
Not
go.
quite. There is a silent spell that is dipping down through the ceiling from above.
Is the are we directly below the box here?
We need.
Yes.
So I go. I just point upwards because I'm the one who's reading the thing.
Yeah, Lily was sort of trying to read it out loud in a hushed voice, but then realised you couldn't. And
Yeah. Had to move. Upstairs. So I guess we make our way upstairs to the.
Can I get a stealth check?
and checking for trips.
Stealth check again, did you say?
I'm assuming your invisibility's still.
I
in
haven't dropped
play.
invisibility yet.
So
I've
you
been
can roll
casting-
with advantage.
I've been casting Dispel Magic, so I have to be.
You will have to do this as well. Yeah, so a stealth check from a regular from Lillian. Oh god.
That will be 20. Not now.
Very good.
17.
16.
Make your way up, and you can see a couple of things. Firstly, you can see a sort of strange vibration happening on the ground, like the dust is being disturbed by some kind of movement next to where that cage prison thing is.
There's something visible.
It doesn't look like it's invisibility. It looks like it's radiating.
It's some big beastie has a very loud snore,
Kinda, yeah.
or it's a big ass engine.
You also see directly above you that star that you saw hovering in the air way above you. Is it twinkling or is it getting closer? Actually, no, it's not just getting closer. It's actually two lights. One of them is getting closer and the other isn't. One of them is still staying up above and the other is descending towards you. You see descending down, borne on wings of flame, a creature which very gently comes to rest with its paws on the top of that box and says in a booming voice, which even cuts through the silent spell, "Your guests have arrived." And you see Lady Chambers drops invisibility on top of the box. "Payment is requested by my mistress." And you see her hand a crystal to the angel. "The map." And she gives him a look like that. On a 21 passive insight or whatever the bollocks it is like
Yeah.
half now, half later. And he looks at you through the invisibility. Not Augustine, actually, because I think, Augustine, your mundane stealth is actually good enough that he can't see you. But he can see through invisibility.
Right.
And the ones who aren't hiding, who are relying on the invisibility, looks at you.
Oh, I still would have been hiding on top of the invisibility,
For sure, yeah.
But
but
just not enough.
Yeah. For real. It was like an 18 on the die, even, like, yeah. "Know that this brings me no pleasure. I am merely a manifestation of my mistress's will. Shall we?"
So, sounds a lot like soldiers taking orders, dearie.
He looks at you, Will. "I know your scent from before." Could I get a medicine, perception, or investigation check from Will?
Medicine, perception, or investigation.
That's what I said.
Okay, yeah, just double checking because
Any of the above.
yes, I will do investigation because that's the only one that has more than a +1. That's a 15 total.
Cool. Across the gut of this angel is an ugly, knitted scar, which mars the otherwise sort of like marble perfection of this creature's flesh. And someone who used to be you deep down recognizes a creature that it stabbed through the gut 21,000 years ago at the Battle of Novum.
Okay. Would you say that we're going into a boss fight here, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the sword is going to go turn into the power axe and go. Yeah, I was built to kill gods.
Lady Chambers raises up a garage door opener and clicks the electronic lock.
Yeah.
And this screeches out at you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Could I get...
Undo.
Could I get...
Oh yeah, on off!
That's hilarious.
Could I get the could I get a... Oh god, what would this be? Perception, medicine, insight, something like that. Pick a check and roll it for funsies to reveal information to you.
Perception.
Yeah.
Oh, I could do... Yeah, perception insight the same. So 29.
29.
Yep.
24
You can see
for history.
tattered scraps of cloth around this thing. You can see that it is not wearing a ring, but the sunlight begins to burn it. But its regeneration is working much faster than the sunlight can.
Yeah, it needs some radiant damage to really kick it into overdrive.
No, it's healing faster than the radiant damage. This thing is tortured by its own existence, but it's healing so fast
Oh, okay.
from the radiant damage.
If we'd have fought this at night, this would have been real fucking bad then.
You recognize some of those scraps of cloth.
Oh.
The last time you saw them, they were running off into the desert.
Oh, fuck me.
Is that the Major Domo?
He lived!
Lady Chambers was not pleased that Dieter abandoned her daughter to die.
Ah, yep.
And as this thing breaks the edge of the silence spell, we will start next session with a Constitution saving throw. And that's where we're going to end tonight. I really thought we'd get to fight in this session.
Yeah. Can I ask, so where was Lady Chambers actually stood?
On
Because
top
we're
of the box.
On
effectively
top
in
of the box.
Right, okay. And we're effectively, it's a stone prison / arena type thing, right?
No, you're in a lovely garden.
Yeah, it's a lovely garden with. I've seen the map. It's a lovely garden, lots of little like water features, beautiful little like flowers.
I've activated it for you on Foundry.
Yeah,
Ah.
it's a lovely thing.
Children are in another castle.
Jesus.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's not very kind.
I can't
Ooh, music.
see anything.
It's loading. Oh, no. Do you not have any token with vision in this scene?
Oh, for fuck's sake! I was doing so well.
The crystal that was handed over, did that look like an access crystal?
You know what? I would say it looks suspiciously like an access crystal.
Because he said the map.
Mm.
It did.
Yeah, which means he's looking for a place. Which means, yep. Cool.
Is it lighting I need? Yeah, token vision off. Nice.
Okay, that's...
Lovely
Oh,
place.
This
Yeah,
up
quite
here,
lovely.
can you see on the top left?
Yes.
That where that little bush is actually the door.
Right.
Right, okay.
Okay.
You guys came out of this entrance here, down in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah. There's like a nice sundial, there's all sorts of things.
Lovely.
Water features and things like
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure it's lovely.
Areas
Can I
where
ask-
we could.
The thing that we're facing, that's not what happens to a vampire if they don't feed, right? This is something different.
Oh, does Lily want to roll me a wisdom religion check to see what happens to naughty vampires?
Sure. Wisdom, religion, 8. That is unnatural 20.
Okay, you've heard of such a thing. You've not seen them. You're not even really sure of the truth of them.
It's like a rumor of a rumor.
Yeah, but you've heard of a thing called a Vargeist, which is you know the tale of the first vampire.
Yeah.
One of the big taboos from vampires is to feed on each other, because it doesn't do good things to one's health, sanity, or lack of soul.
Yeah, diablerie, yep.
Yeah. You've heard of what happens if naughty vampires drink the blood of the first vampire.
Oh.
Did she feed him a ring? Ooh. His own ring?
Probably.
Very,
Or the ring that would have been his promotion.
Ooh.